Okay guys, what I wanted to show you today was how to make a template. And so first what you're going to need to do is open up Layout. Alright, so typically what I like to do is really you have to use one of these to start because you probably don't have any templates saved. And so I typically just go with like the A3 landscape or something like that. So one of the things that you want to know is that whatever template you choose, it is a size of paper. And so that would become really important if you were going to start printing things. So here at Next Step we have the ability to print like 12 by 18 I think it is, which is a pretty decent plan set. So I suggest setting your size to that. So come over here to File, Document Setup, and you can actually change how big you want your paper to be. So I'm going to say mine is an 18 by 12, and then go ahead and play around with the margins if you want. I typically leave this all the same. Maybe I take it into a 1/4 inch because that's what our printer can do, but this is really important for printing purposes, and that's really it. Go ahead and knock up your output resolution to high. You might want to keep your display resolution a little bit lower because if you have a really big file, it'll render better that way. The one I do open up a little bit more is like if I'm going to have a binding, and that's typically my left one. So you can change these. I'm going to change these to a 1/4. I like to get a little bit more printing room out of my paper. And I'm going to leave that one at a 1/2 inch, so close. And so, like I said, this is all in setup for your template. And so what I like to do here is typically create a title block. And so you can do whatever you want to do. I do kind of like a 2-inch and then come all the way down here. And then I go ahead and fill things in. Typically what I like to do for my title block is a very simple title block because that goes into Procore a little bit better. And that's really what we're trying to do is get into Procore. So typically add some text in here, page 1, and then I typically do the number as well. So you can go 1. And like I said, for the purposes of Procore, you're going to want to do it basic. And I do have a video about that, about how basic you should have your these documents, because it does make it a lot easier to go into layout. And so you can play around with auto text and go text, customize auto text, and you can do page numbers, you can do the company and all kinds of stuff. So that is some really valuable stuff to do as well. So typically I go in here, put in my name, then the place of the site, all that stuff, and then I also like to bring in the Next Step logo. Drop this in here and kind of size it up so it looks good, and that's pretty much it. This is how you can make your template, but you do want to set everything up exactly like you would want it to. So typically what I do here is I create another page, duplicate page maybe, but for my second page I don't like to have all this stuff. I typically just like to have kind of the page 1 stuff going on, and that's it. So here you could change this to page 2. Or like I said, if you're into auto text, you could actually get it to change the page automatically. I do really like that, and then you can change the name up here, page 2, or you know what this is going to be, and you can call it your floor plan. I like to do that. I call this main page, and this one might be your elevations. And like I said, as you guys get better at planning, you're going to realize that this is what you have every single time. And you can get really intense into here, and you could say, okay, like I know, I want a title block here, so you could just draw in from Scrapbook and say, okay, like I'm always going to want to have this drawing title here with the scale. So that way you put your floor plan down, and then you don't even have to drag it in again. It's just going to be there for every single one. You can change page numbers. You can change the drawing title. That being said, if you knew it's always going to be a floor plan, then go ahead and label it floor plan. and then I'll save you a step from actually doing it 10 times. Like, hey, you do it once, don't do it again. And that's pretty much it. This is super basic. Obviously, I will give you guys the ability to download my template if you want. It's okay. It's not the best thing in the world, but it does have 5 or 6 pages, and I think it is set up pretty good for the work that I do. The second and most important part is saving this correctly. So go File and say Save as Template. Let's go save it, and we'll go Test Template. And I'm going to show you guys how this shows up next time. So now go ahead, File, let's open a new one. It's going to bring up the ability to look at your templates, go My Templates, and our test template is here. And so it's as easy as that. Now, every time you open this up, always use the same template and you'll get really good at using it. If you ever want to change your template, open it up like this again, change something, you know, put a big text, you know, or text box here, and you'll see kind of how this changes. Make this really big. And so the tough part is going to be saving this again. You can go File, Save as Template, and then you just want to name it the same thing, Test Template. So this is hard. If you even put a space or a 1 or you misspell template, then it won't save the same thing. So save, template test already exists. You want to replace it? Yes. That means you know you've done it right. So let's get rid of this. Let's go File, New, and you'll see that my template is now changed. And so this is something that I typically do a lot. I use my template for 5 or 6 plans, and then I realize, shoot, like I wanted to change something, and so I go back into my template, open it up, change something, resave it, and then now for my continuing projects, I have a better template. And if you want, you could save multiple templates. You're like, oh, you know, I need 5 different templates, one for decks, one for full builds, one for editions, and one for work, you know, outside of Next Step or something like that. So that's the basics of how to create your own template. Like I said, I'm going to put in the links down below where you guys can download my template and see if that kind of suits your purposes. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.
Thanks for watching our video. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button so you can get updated on all our newest videos. Also, go ahead and click the links below so you can see our social media profiles as well as our website.